this space and in this inner place for a long time together. So I just want to report something that, about the source of how this actually came about, which I think is not untypical. And you may remember at the last retreat, I had another painting that was actually called The Radiance and the Shimmer. And after completing that, it was clear that something else was going to come. And I began to gestate this something else, I think sometime last October, or something like that. And then while I was in Europe last summer, in the Austrian Alps in July, totally unexpectedly in meditation, up came this immense black dimension. I can only call it a dimension. It was a flat black plane, absolutely black. I mean, not only this black, but no sheen whatsoever. It was flat. And it wasn't frightening, but it was certainly very unusual for me. And out of this immense blackness exuded a benevolence that was absolutely indescribable. I have never felt anything like this. It wasn't love, it wasn't compassion, it was benevolence, and that is the understanding that came with it. And it's this fundamental good, this goodness, that is its state, it's its quality. It's an immutable quality. And out of that then emerged, as if that hadn't been enough, then out of this then flowed a shimmering golden dance that was like a veil, but totally transparent and translucent. And it exuded an even greater benevolence, because this was its action. This was its action in and as creation. And it was totally, I don't know, there was no mind there, so it couldn't be mind-blowing. It was absolutely shattering to me to experience that and to see that this really is the ground. It is the ground of being, and it is utterly benevolent. It's ever-present. It is the ground, both at its deepest and highest levels. Then, of course, came the real difficulty, how to express this. It's easy enough to paint black, that's not a problem. But how to paint a luminous black, and how to paint a black that has this radiant emanation, this power of that, was extremely difficult. So I gave it my best in the first iteration. And the first iteration was only the flow of the lines, you know. And that just wasn't enough. It wasn't capturing the actual energetic flow and the dance. So I was on a retreat in Mexico in early January, and that opened up an entirely different dimension and a much deeper understanding of this dimension. And when I came back, that was when I was actually able to attempt how to express something of that dancing veil that is so ephemeral and so constantly in movement that it was really difficult to give it any kind of form. So, but that is the best I can do, what is up there in the right. And that is as close as I can come, or could come, to expressing that. And that is actually actually that is everything. I mean, we are that. And it's so beautiful.
Nothing exists.
As we were just speaking about that in the Vedas, this dimension is called the black sun. Mm-hmm. The black sun. And the veiled face of the divine. And anyway, so that is what happened, and that's the best I could do to present it. And now I'm gestating another one that's coming up that's also taking about 5 months. That seems to be the average time that it takes to mature. So that's the next event.
Thank you.
And James did a beautiful invocation for it, which you will hear tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks. If you have any questions, this will be a moment to ask them. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brazilian million times. And I can't imagine what you're going to do next. You're going to do another one? Do you have anything to say about that? Yes, I do actually, because in the meantime, what I'm working on right now came up quite unexpectedly in reworking an older painting, and what is coming up and what's come up was actually the action of this, the action, the force and the action of this power, this force. And that was pretty life-shattering for me, because for the last 3 weeks I've been in this maelstrom of creation and destruction, destruction and creation, and recreation and more destruction. And so that is what is now happening. But what is already emerging out of this is actually the 10-foot painting, which is going to be, somehow it wants to be this, I hate to say final statement, but it feels like it's everyone laughs, I know. But it feels like a final statement. I mean, good grief, what else? What can I do? What else can I say? What can I paint? So, but this one that's coming through is going to be the outpouring of this as a light that contains all lights, that contains all colors, which is basically the outpouring of this into creation already as a kind of precursor of creation, a template of creation, but all in colors. Yeah, luminous colors. And I realized also that what this dimension has, of course, infinite colors, so that I'm limited to the spectrum that we poor humans have, which is like this. But I'll do my best to give it at least an impression of what is really meant with that. But I'm still in the process of gestation, but the boards are ready. When I go back now in next month, I'm going to start. So God will, it will be done. Thank you so much for describing that. That's really quite utterly remarkable. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear. Thank you. All right. Yes, Paul.
Wondering if this would be an appropriate time for you to tell us a little bit about the project.
Ah, yes, that might be a really good moment. But Bert and I have been conceiving a home, a permanent home for about 18 of these most important glass paintings right here in Crestone. Bert bought a beautiful lot right next to our present property, and began to conceive a building that is going to be quite a stunning building, to say the least. And we have a beautiful committee of people who are very supportive. Most of all, it had to be supported by Hannah, who is, after all, the founder of Crestone. And she said that she has always wanted to have an art center here that was a counterpart to all the spiritual activities and all the spiritual centers, of which now have 23. So it's high time to have a place where paintings that are so related to that process could be seen and housed. So it'll be, first of all, it's going to be a foundation that we're in the process of founding, and it's a non-profit, and it's coming along quite nicely, and it will be dedicated to this type of art, and it will be called a sanctuary for contemplating art. And it will be a place, a very small, intimate space, very small, about 4,000 square feet.
Relatively speaking, yeah.
Well, it's not a museum. And it will be dedicated to the arts, poetry, dance, sculpture, but all coming from that dimension of deep meditation and of I would say, higher states of consciousness. So that's the plan. And hopefully in the next lifetime it will be done. Or maybe even in this one. And Bert can give you a lot more information on that if you ever want to talk to him about it, because he's been in the same maelstrom of creativity that I have been in the last 3 or 4 weeks, in trying to resolve how to create roofs that are flower petals. Yeah. Mm. Thank you.